There was once a young pig named Picasso. While the other piglets rolled around in the mud and played games, Picasso painted. He painted anything and everything, and he painted in a most unusual way. At the same time, there was a young bull named Mutis. Mutis was not like the other bulls. He wasn't interested in bullfighting. Mutis was happy only when he was painting, and he painted in a big, bold, and bright way. In time, word of Picasso's talent spread through the pig provinces. Soon, art-loving pigs from all over lined up to buy Picasso's creations. At the same time, Mutis was getting famous in cattle country. Everyone wanted to own a masterpiece. Picasso and Mutis were becoming superstars, but this came at a price. Everyone wanted to see them. Art buyers, art sellers, art students, art historians, and art groupies. It was an art attack. One day, Picasso got fed up, and he said, "I'm tired of this noisy pig pen." At the same time, Mutis declared, "I'm sick of this crowded cow town." Needing a change, they both decided to look for a peaceful place where they could paint without distractions. Both of them looked far and wide for the perfect spot. Picasso found a lovely farm that was facing towards the east. Mutis found a handsome farm that was facing to the west. After moving in, they went to introduce themselves to the new neighbors across the road. And this is how Picasso met Mutis. At first, Picasso and Mutis were friendly, and they welcomed each other as neighbors. But soon, things began to change. The trouble started one day when Picasso criticized one of Mutis's paintings, and then Mutis made fun of one of Picasso's paintings. Mutis called Picasso an art hog. Picasso called Mutis a mad cow. Mutis quipped, "You paint like a 2-year-old." Picasso retorted, "You paint like a wild beast." Mutis raged, "Your colors look like mud." Picasso spat, "Your paintings look like color by numbers." Then things got really out of hand. It was a modern art mess. A full-scale feud erupted, but it was a most unusual battle. Armed with ladders and buckets of paint, Mutis launched the first attack. He started at dawn, and by the end of the evening he had transformed the outside of his house into a masterpiece. Not to be outdone, Picasso grabbed his paintbrushes, and in full view of the enemy he counterattacked. He turned his farm into a huge and outrageous pork of art. The two artists then retreated into their houses and pulled down the window shades. Picasso did not want to look out the window and have to see Mutis's painting, and Mutis had no desire to look at one of Picasso's paintings. But you can't live with the window shades pulled down forever. They needed a different solution. Without saying a word to each other, Picasso and Mutis each went outside and started to build a large wooden fence right down the middle of the road. At first, Picasso and Mutis seemed satisfied. The artists went back to painting by themselves, but after a while, Picasso found that he missed bull-headed Mutis, and at the same time Mutis found that his studio felt empty without the company of pig-headed Picasso. But being naturally pig-headed and bull-headed, neither of them knew how to apologize to each other, so they did what they did best. They let their paintbrushes do the talking. Picasso painted one side of the fence and Mutis painted the other. Each worked until they were exhausted. And then it was strangely quiet. Curious to see what Mutis had been doing, Picasso ran to Mutis's side. At the same time, Mutis galloped over to Picasso's side. The silence of their feud was broken. The artists began laughing at their amazing works of art. From that day on, Picasso and Mutis stayed great friends. They happily took down the fence. A few months later, someone very rich bought it for his wall. Picasso called his side when Picasso met Matisse, and Matisse called his side when Matisse met Picasso, and everyone else called it incredible.